한 바퀴 돌고 오자.
Excuse me.
Hi. Before I start the video, I just have a quick word from today's sponsor. I've partnered up with Amino, who you probably know from Army Amino. Amino is an app that's great for different communities. Like I said, they have Army Amino for BTS fans, and they have loads of other communities as well. They are doing this thing on their global app called Amino Stories, where creators can post content for their followers to enjoy, and I'm gonna do that, so you can go follow me if you want some extra content in your life from me. If you want to check that out, you can click the link in the description, or you can find me at CHIMCHIMTRASH YT. Anyway, that's everything, so let's get on with the video.
Hello and welcome to the third and final part of this vlog series. Today I will take you with me to Seoul, something that's been at the very top of my bucket list for as long as I have been in army. But before I left Pohang, I was lucky enough to see the beautiful cherry blossoms. Such a beautiful sight. Anyway, off to Seoul.
Jeg ved ikke, om jeg kommer til at bruge det her, fordi der er mennesker på, og jeg hader andre mennesker.
Being the organized person that I am, I had a list of things I wanted to see while in Seoul, many of which were of course BTS related or at least K-pop related. First thing I had to do was to visit all the major entertainment companies. My friend and I then went to the old JYP building and had a donut at the Dunkin' Donuts across the street. Then we were off to the new JYP building and had an ice cream at the cafe. While we were standing outside, I saw two young boys enter the building, and I swear to God if they were JYP trainees, I'm gonna jump off a cliff. Anyway, after that it was time for SM entertainment. SM also had a gift shop, and some of you might not know this, but EXO is actually my second favorite K-pop group, and let me tell you, leaving that shop without buying anything was one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. Though it helped a bit that everything literally cost a kidney. Hello. Editor Chim here. When I wrote this script I completely forgot that I actually bought this thing, and yes, I now have only one kidney. Thanks Lee Suman. Anyway, after that it was finally time for the most important company of all. Big Hit Entertainment. Now I know Big Hit don't allow visitors, and I was pleasantly surprised not to see any fans waiting outside. I only stayed for a few minutes to respect our boys' privacy, but mind you, this was right before BTS comeback, so it's very likely they were inside, and yes, I was totally freaking out just thinking about it. I also had to go to the restaurant BTS used to go eat at on Rookie King. It was filled with BTS posters and I was literally in heaven. I don't remember what I ate, but it was delicious. And yes, the thought of potentially using the same chopsticks as BTS gave me a minor heart attack. Who knows if this spoon has touched the beautiful lips of Kim Namjoon. Granted, it has been washed a million times since, but it's the thought that counts. Okay. Next on the list was K-Star Road. For those of you who don't know what K-Star Road is, it's a road with a bunch of teddy bear statues dedicated to different K-pop groups. Another thing I had to try was to go to a raccoon cafe. Major Uwu busted that day. I then took a quick trip to Jin's restaurant. Sadly, I didn't get to eat there, but just being in the presence of something belonging to Kim Seok Jin was more than enough for me. I also went to the bookstore Namjoon has been to. The store was closed, but it looked really cute from the outside, and I got to record for a little bit until I noticed a sign saying no pictures, so I left before I could get caught. Now, if you've watched my other 2 vlogs or follow me on literally any social media platform, you know I have a plushie addiction. More specifically a BT21 plushie addiction. Okay, so maybe you could plaster Koda's face on literally anything and there's a 99% chance I will buy it, but that's not the point. The point is that I had to go to the place it all started. The Line Friends Cafe. And here we have the very seats where BTS had their beautiful buttocks placed while drawing their characters. Let that sink in for a second. And I of course had to be a creep and rub my butt all over the seats. Don't judge me, I bet you all would do the same. I also got to feed my BT21 addiction, and I will make a separate video showing my collection soon. Otherwise this video would probably end up being 3 hours long. You think I'm kidding, but I'm actually not. Like, what is money? I only know plushies. Anyway, I also had to satisfy my inner cat lady and went to a cat cafe. Okay, back to the BTS related stuff. I went to Lottie Star Avenue, which is a Lottie department store that has kind of like a hall of fame where you can find the handprints of groups like Twice, EXO, Stray Kids, and you guessed it, BTS. Y'all are properly wondering who has the biggest hands. I see you, pervert. But to answer your question, Taehyung and Namjoon had the biggest hands, closely followed by Yoongi. The smallest were to no one's surprise Jimin's, though Hoseok's surprisingly weren't that big either. I then went to the SM Museum. Sadly I wasn't allowed to bring my camera inside, but I still got to film some stuff outside the exhibition. As a lot of you probably know, I come from the land of Vikings, Denmark. In Denmark we don't have that many fast food restaurants. In fact, we only have McDonald's, Burger King, and a couple of KFCs. So for obvious reasons I had to try
Panda Express.
Lastly, I went to a Harry Potter cafe. I'm not a Potterhead per se, but I enjoy a good Harry Potter marathon every now and then. Now my time in Korea had come to an end. Lucky for me, my friend ended up having too much stuff to fit in her suitcase, so she ended up buying an extra. What this meant for me was that suddenly I also had more space because she couldn't fill a suitcase on her own. And what did I use said extra space for, you may ask? Well, I had to buy more plushies, of course. So we went to the airport where we had to wait about 9 hours before we could check in. We finally came through security with only half an hour until the stores closed, so I ran to the line store and grabbed one of every BT21 pillow. Except Shaki, who was sold out, and yes, I was very upset. The employees looked at me like I was literally insane. And honestly, who could blame them? One of them asked me if I liked BTS and I looked at her like, well, obviously, do you think a 21-year-old would spend her entire life savings on plushies for the lols? Anyway, I left Korea happier than ever. The end. Thank you for watching me living my best life in Oppa Land. If you enjoyed this and haven't watched my 2 other vlogs, that is totally an option too. And make sure to check out my stories on the Global Amino app. Goodbye.
I love you.